So on the second nationally televised boxing card produced by Haymon, Premier Boxing Champions PBC on NBC, April 11th, 2015, you're going to have Danny Garcia, the WBA Super World, WBC, and Ring Magazine 140-pound champion, taking on Lamont Peterson in the Barclays Center. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live along with Be Real TV. And let's just get this part out of the way. And the fight is a catchweight. Fans are upset. And they're upset because, well, for one, we feel we were owed Lamont Peterson before. And I'm just not, me, I'm cool with it. But I'm talking about, I got to ride with the fans. Put it this way, I'm supportive of the fight, but the thing is, Danny Garcia's got to go out there and do a demolition job on Lamont Peterson. But the fact that it's a catchweight and you got the IBF champion Lamont Peterson not defending his title, you got Danny Garcia not defending his titles. A lot of fans are asking, well, what is the fight for? Therefore, if it's not for any titles, we want to see someone get knocked out. And with the 2014 that Danny Garcia had, you would think that he's going to be in the best possible shape he can be in his career, and he's going to go out there and really beat the dog shit out of Lamont Peterson. And I'm sorry, yes, I'm a Danny Garcia fan. Of course, I'm from Philadelphia, but at the same time, we got to call it like it is. Let's be honest. Lamont Peterson has been stopped before. Lamont Peterson has been stopped by someone that Danny Garcia has knocked down. And pretty much, you saw what he did to his eye. I don't want to hear none of that whatever the case may be. Danny Garcia had a clean-cut decision over Lucas Martin Matisse when fans were saying stuff like Danny Garcia is going to get decapitated. Danny Garcia is scared. Danny Garcia is knocked out, going to get knocked out. And it's crazy because we didn't even think Haymon would ever give us a fight like that, but we got it. So that's why I have faith in, okay, all right, this is Danny Garcia's chance to fight, somebody in an exciting fight. And then next he has to fight. If he's going to stay at 140 pounds, it's still somewhat up for debate if he, but if he stays at 140, he has to fight Viktor Postol, if not Viktor Postol and or Lucas Martin Matisse as far as the WBC is concerned. Turn it over to Be Real TV. By the way, subscribe to both channels right down below. The link to Be Real TV for, extensive boxing coverage over there in the UK. The link is the first link down in the description box. Also visit realcombatmedia.com. The second link down in the description box. Say hello to Be Real TV.
Right, okay, let's talk Danny Garcia versus Lamont Peterson. I think with T Street and myself, we're both hand in hand going for Danny Garcia, but you see me, I'm going to give Lamont Peterson a little bit more credit, and I give him more of a chance than T Street gives him, I think. See, for me, when you put bets on boxing, people go for it's either one or the other. What I'm gonna do for you is I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say both fighters have a chance to win this fight, but I'm gonna give you two predictions. Either one of these two is gonna. Now you see when people say I think Danny Garcia is going to win, beat Lamont Peterson. Most people, I included myself, T Street also, most boxing channels won't tell you necessarily the way that that person will win. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say Danny Garcia wins by knockout, but if he doesn't, he loses on points to Lamont Peterson. Let me explain why. You see, in boxing, a lot of people like to believe in the triangle theory, and the triangle theory being this fighter beat this fighter, and this fighter beat that fighter, therefore this fighter must beat this fighter. Similar situation, Danny Garcia beat Lucas Matisse beat Lamont Peterson, so Danny Garcia must beat Lamont Peterson, right? Not necessarily. We look at Ali, Fraser, Foreman. Prime, best example right there why the triangle theory doesn't work. We look at Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley, Juan Manuel Marquez. Triangle theory didn't work there. Bradley beat Marquez, Marquez beat Pacquiao, Pacquiao beat Bradley. So I think that this is the same situation now. We look at Danny Garcia and we look at Lamont Peterson. Now I think if the Lamont Peterson who was in the ring against Lucas Matisse was to jump in the ring with Danny Garcia now or before, I think Lamont Peterson gets knocked out. But see, here's the thing. Lucas Matisse has a higher knockout ratio than Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia is the better boxer. But Danny Garcia has struggled against boxers. He struggled against Amir Khan. He was getting outboxed severely before the knockout. He struggled against Rod Salka, whether you feel he won or he lost, he struggled. Danny Garcia even had trouble against Zab Judah late. Danny Garcia has he struggled with Mauricio Herrera, which many people feel he lost. Sorry, did I say Rod Salka before? My bad. I can't believe I just said that. But anyway, right? Mauricio Herrera, I mean. Yo, so the thing is this, right? That Danny Garcia, he struggled in the past, but I do think Danny Garcia is a good fighter. And if I was to put money down on one prediction, it would be Danny Garcia by knockout. I think he's going to be weighing a lot more. I think he's a lot stronger, and I think he can knock out Lamont Peterson. But you see, if I was to, if you give me a chance to pick two, I'm going to say Lamont Peterson by decision, because Lamont Peterson can box, and when you look at him in the Dirijan fight, Dirijan was undefeated, coming from Canada, and Lamont Peterson outboxed him and never got involved in a hooking match. I'm not going to count Lamont Peterson's last fight, nonsense fight, but we look at that, he took a more cerebral approach, he took a little bit more caution, and you see Lamont Peterson's a two-phase fighter. What I mean by two-phase, he has one phase where he will just box you, jab, cross, straight punches, and use his footwork and maneuver around the ring. And then you got the other Lamont Peterson, who likes to throw a left hook in now and again, and we saw what happened when he did that against Lucas Matisse. But I mean, you look at how Lamont Peterson was doing before he decided to engage on the inside. Lamont Peterson was beating Lucas Matisse, short as it was, then he got knocked out. So I'm gonna give it back to T Street, and I'm gonna, T Street, you tell me what you think about what I've said in terms of the fight. But I think either Danny Garcia knocks him out within the given rounds and finishes him, or Lamont Peterson wins on points. What do you think?
I have Lamont Peterson being knocked out, and it is true that Lamont Peterson he is two fighters. He can box when he wants to, but at the same time, if you were to put a gauge on it between 0 to 100, I would say he's more 70% prone to be somewhat of a pressure fighter, a guy that's going to be right there trying to outwork you. Now with a guy like Danny Garcia and the left hook, it's almost a blind left hook, to whereas he puts like he swings to the point where he puts his head down, but yet his whole body is the whole force of his body is thrown into it. Both of these guys, with it being on national television, Danny Garcia needs a big win, after being slaughtered on social media, cherries everywhere. He needs a big win. So he's going to come out in the best shape of his career, and he has to knock Lamont Peterson out. Now factor that in. You say, well, what does Lamont Peterson have to lose? He's already been knocked out before. Last fight against Edgar Santana, which he won when he fought on the same card as Danny Garcia. And then, you have the boxing performance that B-Road TV was talking about against the Dirijan. But then what did you see? Lucas Matisse, especially the fact that it looked like he lost the fight on his way into the ring, in my opinion. So there's just certain things I look at and I ask myself, okay, all right. It is true that Danny Garcia, the longer the fight goes, if he doesn't knock Lamont Peterson out, Lamont Peterson is the type of guy that when it gets to, round 7, round 6 on, he can steal those rounds. Those are rounds where a guy like Lamont Peterson starts coming on strong. So, I do agree with B-Real TV where he says that it's going to be either a knockout by Danny Garcia. I'm saying knockout by 6th round. I'm saying knockout before 6th round. That's my prediction. Knockout before 6th round. Will it be a stoppage? I don't see. I want to go toward referee stoppage because of what Danny Garcia has been through and what he knows, even though they may not admit it, they know they have to prove to the fans. I'm going to say stoppage. I see a situation with Lamont Peterson, getting knocked down, getting up, and, being on the ropes and just literally getting hammered. It is true that if you put Danny Garcia up against a guy who has high ring IQ like Mauricio Herrera or a boxer like Amir Khan, yes, you do have the factor that he knocked out Amir Khan and he can do it again. But if you put Danny Garcia up against a boxer, you know, a mover, you know, it's safe to say that Danny Garcia is going to struggle or put someone up against Danny Garcia that he can hurt, that can outwork Danny Garcia. It's safe to say that he may struggle. But, you know, right now he's still undefeated, and it's just, and that's just the way, you know, he's undefeated right now. So, you know, on paper, until someone defeats him, he is undefeated. So, therefore, he still has so much room to improve at, what, 26 years old?
I think that the reason Mauricio Herrera had such success and Amir Khan didn't, and I think that this is the reason why I'm going for Danny Garcia by knockout, is definitely the chin. I think that Mauricio Herrera's chin is exceptional. And I think that was the reason, because Mauricio Herrera did get caught a few times, nothing too major. But, I mean, what is the difference between Zab Judah, Amir Khan, and Mauricio Herrera and Rod Salka? Rod Salka, obviously, different levels, but still, you know, he got knocked out. It's the chin. You know, I think Mauricio Herrera had a tremendous chin. We knew that when he was going into the fight, because you look at the fight against Provodnikov. I mean, to come out against Provodnikov, you've got to have a chin. And I think Mauricio Herrera had a very good chin. When he faced Danny Garcia, he was able to weather the punches. Does Lamont Peterson have that chin? No, he doesn't have that chin. So I think at some point in the fight, there is going to be a connection where Danny Garcia lands on Lamont Peterson. I mean, look at the Zab Judah fight. Punched his lights out. I mean, Eric Morales twice. Danny Garcia punched his lights out in the second fight and dropped him in the first fight. So Danny Garcia can knock opponents down. If he's behind on the points, I think he has the potential to knock Lamont Peterson out. So if you're forcing me to come out with one prediction, I'm going to say Danny Garcia by knockout. If you allow me two predictions, because I'm making it precise, I'm telling you the fashion. I'm not just saying one fighter win, one fighter win. I'm telling you either Danny Garcia knocks him out or he loses on points. I don't think he can beat Lamont Peterson on points. I think Lamont Peterson's entire game plan right now and everything he's been working on is to outbox Danny Garcia, to jab him, to move. And that's where, you know, what he's going to try to do. But, I mean, when he does get involved in the exchanges, which I think he will at some point in the fight, he'll throw a hook where he shouldn't. It's 12 rounds, and I think Danny Garcia knocks him out. I think Danny Garcia is too big, too strong, and too powerful.
I agree. You know, and honestly, I think that's that's a lot of fans feel as though Lamont Peterson is not going to stop Danny Garcia. No one's talking about that. I don't see it happening. If Lamont Peterson was to win, it would be on the cards or sticking to the outside. You know, actually being the boxer that he said in multiple interviews that if he wants to, as he said many times, he can be and not engage in the slugfest. But in front of those big lights, you know, with Marv Albert, with Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, on PBC, on NBC, on national television, you know, you don't know what guys are going to come out there, you know, with that multi-million-dollar presentation. You don't know what two fighters are going to come out. Maybe one will fold under the lights. Maybe the other one, maybe one will come out, you know, saying, oh shit, I'm going to fuck somebody up. You know, and that's how fighters may get out of their game plan. You know, when it comes to, you know, the scale of certain events. You know, yes, you fought on HBO. Yes, you fought on Showtime, ESPN. But under like national television, if you're not an American fan, if you're not an American boxing fan, for the fight on national television in the United States, in my opinion, is bigger than HBO, Showtime, any of that. Even though it may be more money involved in networks, fighting on cable networks, but on national television, everybody gets to see you. And also with the NBC app, you can watch it on your phone. You can watch all our Haymon fights on your phone. So, actually, you know, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my final thought. I'm going to turn it over to Be Real TV. This is T Street Controversy, T Street Controversy Live of RealCombatMedia.com. RealCombatMedia.com. The second link in the description box. We're running a poll for Mayweather versus Pacquiao. It's 2 links down below. Please vote on the poll. Mayweather by decision, Mayweather by KO, Pacquiao by decision, Pacquiao by the KO. Also, the first link in the description box is Be Real TV. Please subscribe to both channels if you haven't already for international boxing coverage. Pretty much, you can say honestly, I can say daily, almost 24/7. T-Street Controversy, T-Street Controversy Live. Turn it over to BeRealTV.com.
Okay, so just before we get off, I'm going to wrap it up and say make sure you subscribe to BeReal TV, and please make sure you subscribe to T-Street Controversy, T-Street Controversy Live. But I'm just going to say this, you know, two things. I'm expecting Danny Garcia to win by knockout, but many people will be very, very shocked if Lamont Peterson wins on points. I'm telling you now, don't be if that scenario happens. Now, do I think Lamont Peterson's going to win by knockout? Never, I don't think so. I will be so surprised if that happened. I don't think it will happen. Danny Garcia on points, I don't think that situation is going to happen. I think it's either by Danny Garcia by knockout, and that is my final prediction. But I'm telling you guys, don't be surprised if Lamont Peterson wins on points.